watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Akanksha Khajuria, and this evening we are keeping our focus on the devastation in Uttarakhand. We're learning that 4 people have lost their life, and in the next half an hour we will show you the dramatic visuals coming in from Uttarakhand. And up next, Donald Trump's trade attack has escalated, but now not just MEA but Indian Army has also hit back with data and numbers. We'll tell you what happened. After that, we'll take you to West Bengal, where the convoy of a Bharatiya Janata Party leader has been attacked. And in a good news for Indians, after Operation Sindoor, Indian forces are placing mega orders for the Indo-Russian joint venture BrahMos supersonic missile. In the national capital, Anil Ambani is being quizzed by the Enforcement Directorate today in a massive loan fraud case. And in fact, we are learning that in just some time that questioning is going to get over. And lastly, it's been 6 years since the abrogation of Article 370. We'll get you more updates on that. These are the top 6 stories that we're tracking for you at 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Let's get started. In fact, let's start with the tragedy that has hit the state of Uttarakhand. Flash flood struck the Dharali village in Uttarakhand's Uttarkashi is what we're learning, wiping out houses and raising fears of injuries as well. And several people, what we're learning so far as this rescue operation is concerned, it is currently underway. And look at the visuals on your screen. Horrific videos of people screaming has surfaced online as strong waves of flood water swallowed the shelters, the houses, the streets there. The flood caused massive damage to the properties, and there are also reports of people being trapped under the debris as well. We're learning that 4 people have lost their life. Look at this, another video that has come to the fore in which you can see the raging water engulfing houses and toppling buildings in that area. Residents were heard screaming out of fear for their safety as horrific scenes unfolded in front of their eyes. We're learning that Chief Minister has in fact spoken about the rescue operation that is currently underway. SDRF, NDRF teams are there at the spot. We're learning that the Indian Army has also been roped in to carry out the rescue operation. Home Minister Amit Shah just a while back spoke to the Uttarakhand Chief Minister. He detailed about the rescue operation that is currently underway as far as this cloudburst in Dharali village is concerned. ITBP and NDRF teams were also directed to reach the spot as soon as possible. In fact, these are the visuals, the dramatic visuals of the landslide and the flood that have come to the fore in the last 2 hours. Listen in to what the Uttarakhand Chief Minister has to say on this.
काशी जनपद के धराली क्षेत्र में बादल फटने की अभी सूचना आई है और बहुत तेज गति से मलबा आया है पानी के साथ। हमारा प्रयास है कि इस समय में सभी को जल्दी से जल्दी राहत के काम किए जाएं, बचाव के कार्य किए जाएं। जिला प्रशासन के लोग वहां पहुंच रहे हैं, साथ में हमारे सेना के लोग, एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ, आपदा प्रबंधन विभाग लगातार कोशिश कर रहा है कि हमारी सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है कि सभी को इस समय राहत की जाए, सभी को बचाया जाए और हर प्रकार से जान माल की सुरक्षा की जाए।
Now let me go across to OP Singh, in fact, who has been the former DG of NDRF. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to Republic TV. There's been a massive devastation in Uttarakhand. Not the first time that we've seen, in fact, first visuals coming in. But before I come to you, let me go across to the briefing that is underway as far as NDRF is concerned.
फ्लड में आफ्टर क्लाउड बर्स्ट के बाद इंसिडेंट हुआ था।
देखिए, इसकी सूचना अभी हमें एसडीएमए के हवाले से स्थानीय प्रशासन से अभी मिली नहीं है। पूरी सूचना अभी जानकारी मुहैया नहीं हुई है। जो इनिशियल रिपोर्ट्स है उसके मुताबिक तकरीबन 40 से 50 घर जो है वो बाधित हुए हैं, बह गए हैं उसमें, और 50 से ज़्यादा लोग ये मिसिंग बताए जा रहे हैं, कुछ डेड बताए जा रहे हैं। तो अभी पूरा जो ये अभी आकलन किया जा रहा है और अभी इंफॉर्मेशन अवेटेड है।
वायनाड में भी इस तरह का इंसिडेंट हुआ, क्लाउड बर्स्ट का इंसिडेंट हुआ, तो बहुत बड़ा दुर्घटना था। आपको लग रहा है कि उस तरह का मैच, क्योंकि बहुत देख के जिस तरह से वीडियोज आ रहे हैं, काफ़ी दुखदाई हैं।
जी बिल्कुल, अगर आप देखें तो वायनाड है या चमोली का जो इंसिडेंट हुआ था 2021 में, एकदम एक तरह से एक रिप्ले लिख रहा है ये इंसिडेंट। तो ये बड़े स्तर पर ये एक राहत बचाव का कार्य अभी यहाँ पर होना है।
इस तरह की जब इंसिडेंट्स होते हैं तो किस तरह का खतरा होता है, क्योंकि आप लोगों के लिए खास तौर पे वहाँ पे जाके प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन में लोगों को बचाना होता है और खुद की भी सुरक्षा का ध्यान रखना पड़ता है।
जी बिल्कुल, क्योंकि मलबा काफ़ी है वहाँ पर, तो वहाँ पर एक तो खोजना, लोगों को मलबे के नीचे जो दबे हुए बॉडीज़ होंगी उनको निकालना एक अपने आप में चैलेंज होता है। और इसके अलावा जो चूँकि बारिश हो रही है, सेकेंडरी एक फ्लैश फ्लड के भी खतरा रहता है, उससे भी जो हमारे रेस्क्यूअर्स हैं उनको सचेत रहना पड़ेगा।
थैंक यू।
All right, let me once again bring in OP Singh, former DG of NDR. Thanks so much, sir, for speaking to Republic TV. Not the first time we have seen such a scene coming from Uttarakhand. Massive devastation that we are seeing there. 4 people have lost their life. What are you making of these visuals that are coming in?
Well, it has been a nature's fury in Uttarakhand, and we have been watching it for last so many days due to intense rainfall or maybe due to so many other factors leading to the climate transformation. We have had the similar situation of rains, massive rains in Himachal Pradesh. The day before yesterday, there was 4 districts were affected by it, and there was complete collapse of the infrastructural developments. Similarly, today we have got this bad news of Uttarkashi being swallowed by this cloud burst, triggering towards flash flood. And this is a very devastating situation because at least 4 or 10 people have been found to be dead, and 50-60 people are still missing. And the most important challenge for the rescue teams, be it the SDRF or NDRF or maybe even Army or ITBP, how to have the ground situations being appreciated much more professionally. You have to identify the dead bodies. The dead bodies have to be retrieved. And if there are people trapped inside, which is very unlikely, they have to be evacuated. They have to be shifted to the safer locations. Grounds are very, very unstable. And so the rescue operations will be very difficult, and they will not be there in the full swing. So you need to have local trained volunteers. They must have been pressed into service, and they must have within 10 to 15 seconds of this particular fury, they would have acted smartly, and they would have taken out, if at all, the people trapped inside. So difficult situations are there, and this cloud burst has really given nightmares to everybody. We could see the visuals, so scary. And the team's movements are also affected because of the difficult terrain, and maybe because the road blocks are there, roads are not in a proper shape. Even you have difficulties in conducting operations in air domain, because the weather is too bad, and you cannot have air operations there. So all these factors are there, and we have to be, but as we have heard the Chief Minister saying this, and even earlier the District Magistrate of Uttarkashi gave us the information that rescue teams are already on the ground, and they have started their operations. So another challenge I forgot to mention is the light problem. As soon as the sun is setting there, and that will be very difficult proposition, that will be very difficult situation and scenario for even the rescue teams to conduct. But they have the portable light system, but let's see how effectively they do it. So all these things are there, and we have to assess the situation very, very professionally.
And we're learning that SDRF and NDRF teams are there on the ground carrying out the rescue operation. You have served as the former DG. But sir, before I come to you, in fact, I'm joined by former Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Trivendra Singh Rawat. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to Republic TV. Now we can see the visuals of sea of destruction as far as Uttarakhand is concerned. Sir, वहाँ काफी मिनिस्टर्स का कहना है और ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज का कहना है, क्योंकि ओवर कंस्ट्रक्शन है, उसकी वजह से ये अभी हो रहा है कि वहाँ इतनी डिस्ट्रक्शन है, लैंडस्लाइड्स हो रही हैं. आपका उस पर रिस्पॉन्स क्या रहेगा?
देखिए, ये आपदा है, और जो लोग जानते हैं, विशेषज्ञ हैं या अनुभवी लोग हैं, ये सब लोग जानते हैं कि इसका पूर्वानुमान नहीं लगाया जा सकता है. और जो आपदा है, तो आपदा तो बिना बताए जो आता है वही आपदा है नेचर में. और फिर जो कुछ भी वहां पर हुआ है वो बहुत ही दर्दनाक है, बहुत ज्यादा आघात पहुंचाने वाला है. और जो सरकार की तरफ, भारत सरकार की ओर से वहां पर हर तरह की मदद भेज दी गई है. वहां पर सेना, एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ, आईटीबीपी, ये चारों हमारे स्किल्ड फोर्स हैं जो वहां पर मदद के लिए पहुंच गए हैं. इसके अलावा क्योंकि मौसम खराब है, तो 2 चिनूक हेलीकॉप्टर चंडीगढ़ में और 2 हेलीकॉप्टर MI-17 सरसावा सहारनपुर में ये स्टैंड बाई हैं. और जैसे ही वहाँ पर मौसम अनुकूल हुआ और तो वहाँ के लिए वो प्रस्थान करेंगे। स्टेट का जो गवर्नमेंट है वो पूरी तरह वहाँ पर उस पर निगाह लगाए हुए है। प्रदेश सरकार वहाँ पर नजर गड़ाए हुए है।
सर, यू एब्सोल्युटली राइट कि इन सब चीजों को पॉलिटिसाइज नहीं करना चाहिए, पर जहां तक बात है स्टेट और सेंट्रल की असिस्टेंट की, आपको क्या कुछ पता चल पा रहा है? स्टेट गवर्नमेंट किस टाइप की असिस्टेंस दे पा रहे हैं? क्योंकि अभी तक हमें पता चल पाया है कि 4 लोगों की इस चीज में डेथ हो गई है।
देखिए, अभी हम माननीय गृह मंत्री जी से मिले थे। वहाँ के जो स्थानीय सांसद हैं महारानी राज्य लक्ष्मी शाह और जो हमारे मीडिया प्रभारी अनिल जी जो गढ़वाल के सांसद हैं, और मैं स्वयं, हम लोग माननीय गृह मंत्री जी से मिले थे। अभी हम लोग बल्कि संसद में ही हैं अभी भी, और माननीय गृह मंत्री जी ने पूरी तरह आश्वस्त किया है कि हम हर तरह की मदद के लिए तैयार हैं, और उन्होंने संबंधित को आदेश भी कर दिया है।
Absolutely, sir. Thanks so much for speaking to Republic TV. So this is as far as the rescue operation that is currently underway in the state of Uttarakhand is concerned. Now, shifting our focus as far as the trade tariff is concerned, we have a breaking news coming in as far as that is concerned. Another Trump threat on tariffs is what we are learning. Trump says may substantially raise tariff on India in the next 24 hours. India to US media will raise tariffs on India, and he's also said that he will be raising the tariffs substantially from 25%. Remember, in the last 1 week, there have been escalation as far as Trump's threat, as far as tariff is concerned. He had said that he would be imposing 25% plus 10% for trading with Russia. And yesterday there was an escalation of sort when he said that he would be imposing even more tariff on India, substantially more. And now another statement that has come in from Donald Trump. He has said that I will be raising tariffs substantially from 25% in the next 24 hours. So that's the deadline that has been given by Donald Trump, that in the next 24 hours he will be raising the tariff on India from 25% and beyond that as well. So it remains to be seen what that number will be. In fact, he's also gone on to mention Russia. He said that India is fueling the war machine. And remember, yesterday MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, point by point rebuttal was given by the Indian government detailing how US and European Union speaks about India funding the Ukraine-Russia war. But on the other hand, they themselves are trading with Russia, and they've been trading that goes into billions of dollars. Let me go across to my colleague Krutat, who joins me live from the newsroom. Krutat, another threat of sorts given by Donald Trump. He's saying that he will substantially increase the tariff in the next 24 hours. What more are you learning?
Indeed, Akansha, and only 48 hours remain on the August 7th self-imposed new extended deadline that Trump said that he would never extend to. And now Donald Trump has gone on to US media to say that in the next 24 hours we can expect that he will raise the tariffs on India. Now this is very interesting because originally in February, when the reciprocal tariffs were introduced, a 26% levy was put on India. Then we heard just a couple of weeks ago where the revision was taken place and 25% tariff was introduced, which is in fact 1% lower than what it was in February. Subsequently, Trump has also mentioned Russia's oil imports, India's oil imports from Russia rather, and its military imports, and combining both of them together, he said that there would be a penalty which was understood to be at around 10%. Now, subsequently, in the last 48 hours, we have seen repeated claims being made by Washington, particularly coming directly from Donald Trump, that he is very concerned about India's oil imports from Russia, following which now he has given a 24-hour deadline in which he is claiming that he will increase the tariff imposed on India. Now, it is very much natural that before the August 7 new extended deadline, that as of now he says that he will not further exceed, but we are yet to see whether it happens or not, because with all the previous deadlines there has always been some or the other reason due to which it has got pushed back. Whether that will happen or not, something is remains to be seen. However, 25% is what we are looking at, plus 10, that was net 35% that was India looking at. And it is also very interesting point of time where India has not finalized any interim trade agreements with the United States. So is this just going to be a negotiation tactic, as the 6th round of talks are already set to be held later this month, in the month of August, where a US delegation is set to visit in New Delhi? Is something that remains to be seen. But for now, it's another warning. As the morning now comes in the United States, Trump has woken up to it, and he is now claiming that in the next 24 hours, he will be raising the tariffs. We'll be closely monitoring, ladies and gentlemen, on the latest updates vis-a-vis the new tariff announcement, if likely it happens tonight.
Absolutely, Krutat. In fact, let me quote Donald Trump point by point. He has said that they have the highest tariff of anybody. We settle on 25%, but I think I'm going to raise that substantially over the next 24 hours because they are buying Russian oil. They're fueling the war machine is the claim that has come in from Donald Trump. But Krutat, I would like to come to you once more. Remember how MEA yesterday countered this very claim of Donald Trump, point by point, saying how on one hand, US and European Union, they talk about India fueling the war, but on the other, they themselves are buying and massively trading with with Russia as well. But before I come to you, let me also bring in one of our guests. Let me go across to Dr. Ajay Sai. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. How do you look at this statement that has come in from Donald Trump? He has said that in the next 24 hours, he will be raising the tariffs substantially. And the reason, once again, that he is given is that India is fueling the war machine. Your first reaction to this?
In fact, these business charges have already been rebutted by the MEA, and they have pointed out that probably European Union and US, they are importing more than what India is importing from Russia. And even the issue of tariff, he has to look into what is the applied weighted tariff rather than the average tariff. Average tariff of India is around 15.98%. The weighted average tariff, which is a more clear indicator, is just 4.6%. The threat of penalty he has already raised, and that's why we have to see how much is the penalty which he will imposing that. Probably these kind of statements are vitiating the atmosphere for the negotiator. As we all know that sixth round of discussion will start in the second half of August. These are the challenging time for Indian exporters. Let us see what is the additional tariff we further impose so that industry can calculate, and then we will take a call whether we want to export to the US or we will look for some alternative markets.
Absolutely. In fact, this is another, claim that has come in from Donald Trump. But, sir, I want to ask you one more question before I let you go as far as Trump tariff is concerned. Yesterday, India countered this very claim point by point. We had mentioned on how, on one hand, this claim is being made on India that we are fueling the Russia-Ukraine war. And on the other, if we see and if you look at the data, then US as well as European Union is also trading massively in the last few years, and that number has also gone up, be it uranium, be it fertilizer and other products related to EV as well. US and EU are also trading with Russia, but when it comes to India, why the double speak is many people are asking this question.
I think if you recall that the US sanction on Russia was with regard to the oil, if it is imported above $60 a barrel, India has not violated that, and therefore the very fact now he's raising that why India is dealing with Russia is something which has come off the cuff. He has not been able to settle his score with Russia, and that's why he has brought India into the controversy. But I'm pretty sure Indian government is moving in a very balanced manner. They will look into the national interest, and we will definitely partner with some of the trusted partners, and we will try to work on their strategic relationship at the same time. As a sovereign country, India has made it very clear that we will decide what is best for the country.
Absolutely, sir. Thanks so much for speaking to Republic TV. We'll continue to track this very closely. Let me once again bring in my colleague, Krutat, who's been tracking this very closely. Krutat, tell us about the way forward as far as the trade tariff is also concerned. You are saying that a delegation is going to visit India as well. Give us more details on that.
Indeed, and it is going to be in the second part of month of August, around August 20, 25th is the window that we are looking at, where the sixth round of delegation level talks will take place between India and United States. So it is very interesting that on one hand you have President Donald Trump coming up every day with a new rate of tariff against India, and on the other you also have the terms of reference which were already put in place in the month of March ongoing. So negotiations will be held later this month. Akansha, that's the larger indication, but all eyes now on the next 24 hours and the tariff window.
All right, let me also go across to market expert Ashish Wakanka. Thanks so much, sir, for speaking to Republic TV. How do you see this? Look at the fresh statement that is coming from Donald Trump. He has said that he will be substantially increasing the tariff from 25% to, we don't know what percentage in the next 24 hours. Give us your first reaction.
So, good evening. You just mentioned that we don't know what is the escalation going to be, but trust me, nobody knows what is it going to be. So, this kind of noise, in my opinion, will continue for some more time. I think one needs to look at the official statement issued by the Ministry of External Affairs yesterday, which was, within 90 minutes of that tweet or whatever announcement that, we are going to put substantially higher tariffs on India. So they have come with a statement. That statement actually communicates a lot, and it calls out the bluff of the Western powers who themselves keep on trading with Russia. So United States keeps buying, importing stuff worth about $1.5 billion, $2 billion from Russia. India's oil purchases today from Russia, if you look at it, so during the Ukraine period, when the gap was around $30, today it's come down to around $5. So seriously, the amount of money that India actually saves from buying Russian oil today is quite substantially low than what it was prior to that. So if you look at it, the trade that US does with Russia and the oil purchases of India from Russia, there would not be much difference. So to say that the money paid by America to Russia goes into infrastructure work in Russia, but the money paid by India to purchase oil, so United States purchasing fertilizers, a big way from Russia, that money goes to do infrastructure or some other work, but the oil purchases which India does from here, that $1.5 billion goes to fund the Ukraine war. In my opinion, it's ridiculous, but be as it may, they are the world's largest power, so they have assumed the right to treat the world the way they do. In my opinion, one needs to show patience. If somebody is behaving in an impulsive manner, if somebody wants to bulldoze her way because one has the stick in the hand, there's this saying in Hindi, jiski lati uski bhains. So if somebody feels that, I have a stick in my hand, I can go around hitting anybody. Well, that will continue for a while, but we need to show patience. We need to, and I'm again looking at the government with the way it has dealt with challenges in the last 11 years. I think we will wait for the second half of August when the negotiators come down, the discussions continue. We will have to watch the progress of the India-US bilateral trade agreement. I personally believe these things should start settling down towards as the talks progress. But till then, this noise will be there, and yes, people will sit up and react to this noise. But in my opinion, more noise than substance, and absolute impulsive behavior, which is surprising.
Indian Mr. Wakanka, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast with those details. Also joining me live on the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, is economist Kishore Subramaniam, who's also been tracking this story very closely with us. Kishore, sir, it has been another threat issued by Donald Trump in the last 48 hours, yet no number put. This time he says 24 hours and he will put something out there. Is this a renewed and rejuvenated conscience for Ukrainians by Trump, or is this just a tough negotiation tactic?
Yeah, it is not a tough negotiation tactic. I think it is just bullying, and America being the stronghold and the superpower in the world, it is things that now earlier it was pointing the gun at you, now it has kept it on your temple. Now you have to decide whether he wants to pull the trigger or not. But what is most important for one to remember is that if the trigger is pulled, there are two bullets that's going to come out. One firing onto India, one firing back on them, because the inflationary pressure is going to go up. And I think Mr. Donald Trump lives in another world where he thinks that every 24 hours, if he can increase tariffs, I would rather say that India should be okay with losing $83 billion of total export. And we also need to remember that America smartly says that the pharma ones, we will not put anything because that suits them. So they will buy oil from Russia or anything that will suit them. So I'm not bothered about this. See, when you start threatening beyond a point, nobody is actually scared. Now people are thinking that, chalo yaar, ye to daily subah ka nautanki chal raha hai, aaj bhi kuch ho raha hai. So that's perfectly all right. So it just depends on what your tariff percentage is, depending on where Mr. Trump wakes up this morning. And I think you can bite us and say that we have stopped doing trade with India. And that is a simple statement, because this is, sorry to say, but absolutely ridiculous, authoritative, and I wouldn't like to use any other words. It just actually pulls my brain off.
Of investors both in the United States and India. We have seen exporters also having a lot of concerns about what to do next. We also saw the Russians coming out today. Dmitry Peskov, the official spokesperson of President Putin, has said that all sovereign nations have the right to choose their trading partners, and rightly so. How do you see this is going to have an impact on the markets and the larger economic instability that such statements every morning can cause?
Yeah, on the markets and the economy, let's first understand the numbers very clearly. As far as the markets are concerned, you understood that after the 25% tariff was announced, you saw what the markets did on Monday. We were positive. Now, after that, we have been a little volatile. The VIX has gone up on the Indian stock market. But what is important for us to understand is that as the Russian official spokesperson of Putin said that, every country has the right to choose its trading partner, I think India has the right. And I think our EM is very, very clear on the fact that we are going to do what is in the national interest first. The second point, GM modified soybean. If that is the condition you're going to put and that is the gun you're going to put on our head saying that you need to do that, I don't think so this is going to work out. But at the end of the day, on the stock market, I believe one thing, that these are noise and there are enough such noises. Do not forget in 1998, Pokhran, we were given sanctions by America. We moved on. We became the largest economy. So don't worry. And that too when we had a foreign exchange reserve of $5 billion. Today we have a foreign exchange reserve of $700 billion. Do you think this is an India which is going to get scared? We are on way to become a Vishwa Guru. I think Trump has 3 years left and this drama will go on.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. So it remains to be seen what happens in the next 24 hours, and we will be tracking that very closely. And with this, we're taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, we'll tell you more about the Trump tariff tirade and what is going to happen in the next 24 hours. Keep watching Republic TV.